Lindsey Richland, thanks so much for coming in and talking. Your particular expertise is on cognitive processes and things like executive function. How does that relate to math?
Sure. So executive function is it's a limited capacity system that we have, everyone has in their minds, that basically governs how we shift our attention, sort of draw our attention to specific aspects of our environment, how we disattend to things that are not relevant, and how we decide what to attend to, and then we take some of that information and we manipulate it in mind. So for example, if you're doing a mathematics problem, trying to add 473 plus 231, you have to hold a lot of that information in mind. You have to disattend to everything else I said. You have to hold those numbers in mind and manipulate them. That's within your working memory, right? So that's pretty taxing. So in a mathematics classroom, there are lots of demands that are trying to take children's executive function, right? So there are peers and there are instructions for the task that the teacher might have given. There are also the demands of the task itself. And so if we want our kids to be thinking creatively and in rich ways about mathematics, we want them to have available executive function resources to think about, why does this matter? Why would that be true? How do we, wait, is that like the problem we solved before? Ooh, maybe I can take an idea from this one and try to use it to solve this. So we want them to have enough available resources to be able to think generatively and creatively about mathematics. So we want to be careful to not overwhelm them with other aspects of these problems and the tasks. And so I do a lot of work trying to think about how to balance those demands. Like, for example, putting a lot of information on the board so kids don't have to hold that in mind. So if I asked you to do that arithmetic problem, I gave you in mind, that takes a lot of resources, but if it's written down, it's much less, right? Teaching them techniques like, writing out the steps of an arithmetic problem allows them to offload those working memory resources, and then they can kind of spend their time actually thinking in more interesting ways about the math that they're doing.